Welcome, my brothers and sisters, my sons and daughters. My name is Elder George, and today we bring you the first part of a 7-part series concerning the 7 major issues affecting our society. The first issue is that America has the world's largest prison population. Those men in prison could be your brothers, your fathers, or your sons. How does that make you feel? Does it bother you? I hope so. It bothers me. That's why I'm making this program. We have more men in prison than China and India combined, and they have more than 2 billion people living there. How can we call this country the land of the free when we have 2.4 million of our brothers in prison, rotting away in cages? 1 man in 6 between the age of 18 and 30 has a relationship with the law. In the African American community, the ratio is 1 in 3. These figures are 10 years old. Things have gotten worse since then. By the way, my brothers and sisters and sons and daughters, we're having a problem with the lip sync on the filming today. I'm sorry. This is best as we can do and still get a program out to you on time. We thank you for bearing with us. How fast are things getting worse? In 1976, the prison population was 250,000. That was considered high by international standards. Yet that figure has doubled every 8 years. In 1984, we had 500,000 men in prison. In 1992, we had 1 million men in prison. And in the year 2000, we had 2 million men in prison. It leveled off somewhat during the past 8 years, but now it's picked up again, and we have 2.4 million men in prison. Why do we have such a rate of incarceration rate? The materialistic thinking of Western society will blame it on education, poverty, drugs, racism. They are wrong on all accounts. Regarding poverty and education, for decades, the Chinatown section of San Francisco had the poorest and most uneducated residents of San Francisco, and yet they had the lowest crime rate. I also had the opportunity in my youth to see poor immigrants in New York City who had low levels of education and were living in poverty. They had low crime rates. I came from one. I'm one member of that society. Whether from Asia or Europe, the poor and uneducated were held together by a strong family. Family is the natural societal unit, and where it functions properly, crime will not be a major issue. Now, drug usage is a means of escape from the miserable conditions of society, as is pornography, sports, entertainment, gambling. Our society is a very unhappy, insecure place to be in, so people try to escape, but they're not the causative factors. Regarding race, yes, African Americans have had the highest incarceration rates in society because they were the first to experience the severe breakdown of the family caused by our form of government. After 400 years of slavery and segregation, in the 1960s, 25% of African Americans were born from unwed mothers. That's a relatively low figure considering 400 years of suppression. Now, in just the 40 years since the Great Society legislation was enacted in the mid-1960s, in just those 40 years, the unwed motherhood rate of African Americans has zoomed to 70%, and in some pockets, like Harlem, reached 90%. Great Society legislation removed authority from the male and destroyed the family. When the family is destroyed, all natural values disappear. There has been a tenfold increase in unwed motherhood among whites, and we have seen a corresponding increase of whites in prison. The government is engaged in a deliberate and successful effort to destroy the family. It has done this by removing the authority of the male, emasculating him, and making the government the sole authority on all relationships regarding men, women, and children. There are all sorts of pretexts upon which to arrest males. Domestic violence, sexual harassment, and accusations of rape are but a few of them. When the new hate crimes legislation gets enacted, to supplement these laws, we will see a rate of incarceration amongst men that it'll be like mass-producing prisoners. Wherever the patriarchal structure is removed in this world, the family is destroyed, the incarceration rate goes up, religion loses its influence, morality declines, and government becomes more powerful. Patriarchy is the natural structure of the universe. The solar system is patriarchal, the atom is patriarchal, and so is everything in between. There can be no patriarchy without manhood, and there can be no family without patriarchy. Patriarchy is family. Big government comes from the lack of patriarchy. It wants to destroy patriarchy altogether, which is what's happening in our society right now. That's why your fathers, brothers, and sons are being put into prison. America has the world's largest prison population. Are you going to sit there, stand by, and do nothing? Or are you going to do something about it? Look at our website, mensaction.net. That's www.mensaction.net, mensaction.net. We're the only organization that promotes a natural way of life. That way of life is patriarchy. Look at our mission statement. Invest in our information materials. Stand up and be counted, whether you're a man or a woman, young or old. Your life is being affected by the practice of throwing our men in prison. Only you can change that. The government won't. It's the government that caused it. I thank you for listening to me today and look forward to hearing from you. Until then, I send you my love. And thanks for putting up with the lip sync problem today.